Well, you kind of have to give this one to the Hall of Fame committee, don't you? So Selanne and Correa are in, and Dave Andreychuk, Mark Recchi. It says here builders Claire Drake and Jeremy Jacobs, the Bruins owner. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm a Bruins fan, and I get why he's going in, but that's a great Hall of Fame class. Recchi, I didn't know if he'd get in. I mean, I knew he had the point totals. I knew he had the Stanley Cup rings. I just didn't know whether or not the NHL would vote in enough numbers to get him in there. I'm pretty sure he was on the Carolina team. I know he won a cup in Pittsburgh, won a cup in Boston. Did he win the 2 in Pittsburgh? Did he just win the 1? I think he was traded out of Pittsburgh before the second one. I think he was traded to Philly. Not important. I'm trying to do all this stuff without looking it up because Mark Recchi was one of my favorite players at the end. Interesting thing with Mark Recchi, and I don't know if he'll mention this, probably not during his Hall of Fame speech, but when he retired, he said that there was no team he hated more than the 2011 Stanley Cup final opposition that was the Vancouver Canucks. The interesting thing about that is Mark Recchi's a BC boy. So for him to say that the team he hates the most is Vancouver, that's pretty damning. 20-year career, too. And I mean, he played against teams with guys who were really easy to hate, and yet Vancouver was still number 1 on that list. Selanne and Correa going in together, this is a story that, well, it's a good thing I got this Ducks jersey today because it's very useful. They played together. They wore this jersey a lot. Paul Correa is another one. I wasn't sure whether or not they'd actually put him in because his career was shortened by injuries. And we sort of get into that level where it's like, okay, does somebody have a bunch of first All-Star votes? Do they have to win a bunch of awards? Do they have to be a Art Ross winner? And in this case, Correa and Selanne, both really strong talents. Selanne, numerous Stanley Cups. Correa would have won them if he'd stayed healthy. Concussions, other injury issues, and Correa had a shortened career of 989 games, had 989 points. And again, when a player falls short of 1,000, there's a part of me that says, I don't know, but he got there, and I'm glad he did. He deserves it. He belongs there. His career petered out when he got to St. Louis, which was a shame. He was a shadow of his former self. He was so bound and determined that he was going to continue his career, even in the face of the fact that his health was just not where it needed to be for him to be what he was in his early years. So yeah, and Andreychuk. About bloody time Dave Andreychuk got in. How many times has he been denied? I mean, he scored 600 goals, and you can argue about how long it took him to get those 600 goals, but he was one of the best power play scorers I ever saw. He had a ton of heart. Heart was never the problem with him. So I'm glad he got there. I'm glad that we don't have to look at these guys who've got 500-600 goals and say, well, why isn't this guy in? Why isn't that guy in? The Hall of Fame committee seems to be getting it right. So Andreychuk, Selanne, Recchi, somehow Jeremy Jacobs gets into that, Correa. And it's good because there have been years recently where you'd see like 1 or 2 guys getting in, and you might see somebody going in and you say, well, why did that guy get in and this guy didn't? I don't think you're going to see that this year. I think people are going to look at these 4 and say they belong there. Claire Drake, women's hockey belongs in the Hall of Fame. There's debate about that, of course. I'm not going to get into that debate. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. For my opinion is it belongs there as the Hockey Hall of Fame, not the NHL Hall of Fame. And then Jeremy Jacobs gets in, and part of me says, well, I don't know about Jacobs, but he's been an owner for Boston for quite a few years, and it doesn't feel like a Gil Stein nomination. Gil Stein was the commissioner of the NHL at one point who put himself in the Hall of Fame because he figured he belonged there. He'd been employed for about what felt like 4 weeks, so why not go into the Hall of Fame? Yeah, that didn't work out so well. Just picture if Gary Bettman put himself in the Hall of Fame and then turn up the negative reaction by a factor of about 3. Because while we may dislike Bettman and he may put himself front and center, he didn't do that this year. But he may put himself front and center at times. Gil Stein had a lot more ego than Bettman. A lot more. So, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments section below this video. I don't have a whole lot to add. This is absolutely perfect. This is absolutely, these are the guys who belong in the Hall. This is why I did a video some time ago about whether or not certain people belong in the Hall of Fame. All 4 of these guys, I said yes. There's no debate in my mind about whether or not they belong there. There may be some debate among fans. That's why I'm saying leave a comment below. But for me, there's no debate. These guys all belong there. Fantastic players, great talents. Correa and Solani definitely helped with the growth of the game in California after Gretzky was gone. Andrechuk was a warrior, and Brecky played forever, and all he did was win. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons to like any of these guys and say they're Hall of Fame worthy. Let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Look, I'm out in natural light for you people. Okay, 7,500 subscribers. We're getting close. And I'm risking natural sunlight, actual UV rays. And must be summer because I'm outside. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you guys again soon.